Hey everyone, this is Chef Steven. Welcome back to my kitchen. We're getting ready for the big game today, so in order to do so, I wanted to make some killer pork belly tacos. Now, this recipe is in my cookbook, Getcha Grub On. If you haven't gotten a copy, I recommend it. Anyways, let's get this easy recipe started. First things first is we have a 4-pound slab of pork belly. But today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use about half of this. Why? Well, it's because we can use the other half for another video later on. Anyways, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to cut this right down the middle. My favorite way of doing this is scoring the fat, and the reason for that is because we're going to make these little pockets for our seasoning to go in there. So these are the holes we're talking about. Now when it comes to our seasoning, we've got a blend. We are doing some salt, brown sugar, some pepper, a little bit of curry powder, chili powder, thyme, and some garlic powder, all of which will have the recipe right over here for you. Now, in my baking pan, I've got an onion that was cut in half and then cut again, so that way we can put our pork belly right on top. The reason for this is because as this cooks down, this is going to act as a baking rack for our pork belly, but also that onion's going to cook down and absorb all that flavor from our pork belly. Our oven is preheated to 500 degrees. What we're going to do is we're going to put this in there for about 15 minutes. We're going to let the skin start that crust on the outside. Then we're going to lower it down to 275 degrees. And then we're going to let that go for about 3.5 hours. In we go. While our pork belly is in the oven at 500 degrees, we're going to make a quick and very easy slop. We've got a bell pepper that's been sliced up real thin, cabbage and carrots that have been julienned real fine, got a tablespoon of sesame oil, of apple cider vinegar, and 2 tablespoons of mayo. Let me show you how we put it all together. First, you've got your cabbage. We're going to add our bell peppers, our sesame oil for a little bit of that nutty flavor, apple cider vinegar for that little bit of sweetness, and to make it just a little bit creamy, we're going to get our mayo, and then our same seasoning that we were using before, and throw that in there and mix it all up. And voila, done. Alright, this is where we've ended up after 3.5 hours of being in the oven. Now it's time to put everything together. This is where we're at. This is where we need to be. So we're going to get a little bit of our pork bellies, and then we're going to put that into our tortilla. And remember our slaw that we made earlier? Just get a little bit of that right in there. So altogether, we've spent about 4 hours putting everything together from beginning to end. Let's take a bite and see how it tastes. That is amazing. The rich pork, the salt, the brown sugar, that little bit of curry powder that we threw in there goes great with that bright, fresh slaw that we put together. That little bit of sweetness and vinegar from the apple cider vinegar, that mayo to kind of tone it all down, blends together very well. I hope you learned something today. Make sure you follow me on social media. Chef Steven Gonzalez on Facebook, Chef Steve Gonz on Instagram. Also grab a copy of this recipe right here for this pork belly in my cookbook, Getcha Grub On, by going to chefstevengonzalez.com. Anyways, we'll catch you next time.